This is a transition on Atlantic Television Network. Troops of the 6th Division Nigerian Army, in conjunction with other security agencies, have smashed 18 illegal refining sites and arrested 17 suspected oil thieves after demoralizing 10 boats and recovered over 25,000 liters of stolen petroleum products across the Niger Delta region. Acting Deputy Director, Army Public Relations, Lieutenant Colonel Denjuma Jonah Denjuma, in a statement said the troops achieved this in a series of operations conducted from 17 to 23rd of February 2025. In Rivers State, the statement said troops recorded significant operational successes, particularly around Kilometer 45 Idama General Area in Akuku Toru local government area, where they destroyed 2 active illegal refining sites and intercepted 3 wooden boats carrying over 9,000 liters of stolen crude. It explained that the suspected oil thieves fled upon sighting the troops. At the Ogajiama axis in Akuma, a wooden boat laden with over 1,000 liters of stolen crude was intercepted within the creeks, and while making clearance operations at Imo Rivers, troops destroyed 2 illegal refining sites, 23 drum ports, 14 drum receivers, and confiscated over 2,000 liters of stolen crude. The statement further revealed that in Bayelsa dismantled 3 illegal refining sites at Clove Creek in Ekremo local government area, recovering 1 pumping machine, over 3,500 liters of stolen crude, and demoralizing 2 wooden boats. While in Delta State, the statement, troops intercepted a Toyota Camry with registration number Anambra JJT 867AE at Otonun village in Sapele local government area. Leaders of Ikwano and Umuahia in Abia State are appealing to federal government to complete the 51-kilometer stakeholders meeting in Umuahia on Monday, said adequate release of funds with the works in Ikwano and bad sections of Umuahia axis of the federal road. In his speech, the member representing Southeast and the Northeast Development Commission Board, Sam Onibo, thanked the federal government for approving extra 14.37 billion naira on February 3rd, 2025 for the Ikwano-Umuahia Road, which connects Akwa Ibom State to Cameroon. He also thanked President Bola Tinubu for approving the commencement of the construction of the Federal Secretariat at Ekoba Ohuhu in Umuahia and some other community members during the meeting, probed the contractor for the slow pace of work on the road. Chairman elected on the platform of the All Progressive Congress on the 15 October 2022 Osun local government area election returned to their council secretariat on Monday amidst tight security. Eyewitnesses said Ifo Olodun local government headquarters in Ikurun, the Olorunda local government area in Ibona, and the Oshobo local government area secretariat in Oke Ballet observed that council officials had resumed their duties. A heavy security presence was also noted across major roads in the state, with armed police operatives and Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps officers mounting roadblocks at the entrances to the secretariat, while security checkpoints were observed along the Oshobo-Kwara boundary road, Oshobo-Ilesha Road, and Oshobo-Ibokun Road, and business activities continued uninterrupted across the state capital. Reacting to the development, Jamiu Olawumi, a former special advisor on education to ex-governor Adeboyega Oyetola, said the chairman and councillors had resumed work in all 30 local government areas, and the chairman had issued directives for local government staff to return to work by Wednesday. This is coming after Governor Ademolo Adeleke, during a swearing-in ceremony on Sunday, had directed chairmen and councils elected in the Saturday local government elections not to resume at their council offices yet, adding that before the election, the state chapter of the Nigerian Labour Congress had also instructed workers in all local government areas to stay home due to the ongoing disputes between Adeleke and the APC in the state. Moving on to Ondo State, the governor, Lucky Ayedatiwa, and his deputy, Oyadile Adelemi, have been sworn in for a fresh 4-year term. The Chief Justice of the state, Olusegun Odesola, administered the oath to Ayedatiwa and Adelemi amid the presence of the people of the state and dignitaries who witnessed the event. While taking the oath of the office, the number 1 and number 2 citizen vowed to uphold the Constitution, work within its dictates, and ensure the well-being of the people of the state. The inauguration marks the takeoff of a new administration in Ondo State. Present at the oath-taking event were the Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Governor of Ekiti, Abiodun Oyebanji, Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, Minister of Youth and Development, Ayo Olawande, among others. Still in Ondo State, Speaker Hauki Ayedetiwa would bring all-round transformation to the state and prosperity for all. In a congratulatory message to the governor and his deputy, Dr. Olayedi Odelayemi, on Monday in Akure, Oladiji attributed the landslide victory in the last governorship election to their unwavering passion for development across the various sectors of the state in the last 1 year, stressing that his exemplary leadership and commitment to advancing the cause of peace, healthcare, security, and education remain a legacy for generations to come. He facilitated the governor and his deputy, wishing them greater accomplishments in the next 4 years, and asked God to grant the governors sound health, more wisdom, and guidance to pilot the affairs of the state to greater heights. Moving on, Federal High Court in Abuja has dismissed a 500 million naira suit instituted against the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, over alleged unlawful arrest and detention of a businessman, Alhaji Abubakar Ismail Isa, for more than 7 months. Justice Emeka Nwite on Monday dismissed the suit while delivering judgment in the case in which the businessman challenged his arrest and detention and demanded 500 million naira as compensation for his incarceration. The judge held that the case of the businessman against the anti-graft agency was unmeritorious because the incarceration by EFCC was preceded on a lawful order of court. Justice Emeka Nwite said the EFCC placed sufficient facts before the court that the businessman was upon first arrest granted him by the agency in respect of his investigation for alleged fraud. The court said the plaintiff should blame himself for his act, which led the anti-graft agency to opt for order of court to hold him for the period of investigation into the series of complaints of fraud and financial crimes against him. This is coming after Isa had dragged the EFCC before the court, seeking to admit him to bail and, in the alternative, compel the EFCC to either arraign him in court or allow him on bail, and also complained that he had been held in custody since June 14, 2024, without being told of his offense and justification for his arrest. However, in his judgment, Justice Emeka Nwite said he found as a fact that the plaintiff was first arrested on February 14, 2024 and was admitted to administrative bail on self-recognizance but did not keep faith with the bail. The judge held that his request for 500 million naira compensation on the strength of his detention was based on valid order of court and was not grantable among his other requests, while Justice Nwite subsequently dismissed the suit in its entirety for lacking in merit. In Kaduna State, University chapter of the Academic Staff Union of University has suspended the strike embarked upon on February 18. A statement by the chairman of ASU, Dr. Peter Adamu, said the decision to suspend the action was to demonstrate goodwill in resolving the impasse by immediately releasing funds to pay the 60% of September 2017 withheld salaries and Student Industrial Work Experience Scheme supervision allowance for 5 sessions. Adamu also said the government showed commitment to implementation of wage awards and to grant autonomy to the university, and expressed its appreciation to Governor Obasani of Kaduna State for his swift intervention and leadership in resolving the issues that led to the strike action. The union also thanked the university management, commissioners for education, sports, and other stakeholders for their roles in ensuring a quick resolution of the impasse, and called on all academic staff to resume duties and continue rendering invaluable services to the university community. Moving on to Katsina State, management of the Federal University Dusimi Katsina has shut down the school following violent protests by students over an alleged killing of their colleague. Eyewitness said 2 students were allegedly shot by members of the Civilian Joint Task Force operating in the area, leading to the death of one. Also speaking, a resident of the area, Malam Osman, said the protesting students blocked the Dushin-Markasina highway and set tires on fire, drawing the attention of security forces. Meanwhile, the Fordma Senate in a statement said the immediate closure of the school and directed students to proceed on a 1-week mid-semester break starting from Monday 24th, while the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Aimayu Hamisubichi, announced the decision of the Senate and advised the students to leave campus before 6 p.m. Monday 24 February 2025. Also, the Katsina State Police Public Relations Officer, DSP Abubakar Sadiq, has confirmed the incident. In Bauchi State, the government has received the delegates of the 80th General Assembly of Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, Bauchi 2025. The theme of this event is the broadcast media in the era of economic downturn, the way forward. According to the invitation, the date for this event is today, Tuesday, February 2025, by 10 a.m. prompt. The venue for the event is at the Command's Guest House, Bauchi State. National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control has warned fruit dealers and sellers against using calcium carbide in fruit ripening for commercial purposes. NAFDAC coordinator in Sokoto State, Mr. Abdusalam Alawal, during a public awareness campaign at the fruit market on Monday in Sokoto, urged fruit dealers and also sellers to stop the dangerous practices, which he noted was harmful, stressing that it posed serious risk to public health. He warned that the use of calcium carbide could lead to severe health issues, including kidney damage, cancer, hypertension, and even terminal disease, adding that only welders were permitted to use calcium carbide for tasks such as melting iron, and that NAFDAC would increase surveillance to ensure that it was being used properly and not sold to fruit vendors. He said fruits such as mango, banana, pawpaw, watermelon, and others were mostly ripened with a calcium carbide in the areas. Alhaji Bello Dandar, chairman of the Association of Fruit and Vegetable Marketers and Distributors in Sokoto, advised fellow sellers to adopt hygienic methods at all times and warned that violators of this process would face penalties, while demonstrating how mangoes, bananas, and watermelons could be ripened safely in commercial quantities without posing harm to consumers. You are watching The Transition on Atlantic Television Network. We return shortly after this break. This is Atlantic Television Network Transition, and now the rest of our stories. President Bola Tinubu has stressed the need for interagencies collaboration to tackle the challenge of banditry, kidnapping, and armed robberies, among other insecurity challenges confronting the nation. Tinubu has equally sought more support for the Nigerian police to perform their jobs effectively, saying that the business of adequate security provision is a shared responsibility by all. The president, represented by his vice, Senator Kachim Shettima, disclosed this in Abeokuta on Monday, while declaring open the 3-day retreat for the senior strong internal security towards the continued prosperity of the country, and has therefore been doing all that is necessary for reposition in the Nigerian police to continue to perform its constitutional mandate of protecting lives and properties across the nation. He also said his government has been working to bridge the existing security infrastructural and equipment gap through a comprehensive and sustainable program that includes renovating police barracks, improving mobility, and upgrading combat and protective gear that would always prioritize the welfare of the police, adding that aside the implementation of the new minimum wage, the government will also be ready to grant financial incentives to the deserving officers. In his welcome address, Ebo Token said the annual gathering serves as a crucial platform for reviewing police operational strategies, exchanging insights, and realigning the country's policing objectives with the evolving global security landscape in the country. The IG also urged police to intensify operations and commitment to cooperation with the military and other security agencies in the fight against banditry, kidnapping, and other organized crimes that have yielded significant results. Moving on, President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed the federal government's commitment to expanding Nigerians' broadband infrastructure, while highlighting a $2 billion investment in fiber optic cables aimed at improving nationwide internet connectivity. A statement by the Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onunuga, on Monday disclosed this in Abuja while receiving a report from participants of the Senior Executive Course 46 of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies. Kuru, the president underscored the importance of digital infrastructure in driving economic growth, job creation, and youth empowerment. Responding to the report, Tinubu reiterated his administration's focus on leveraging technology to empower the youth and create sustainable jobs, adding that significant progress have been made, with support from the Ministry of Finance and a $500 million commitment secured from the World Bank. Tijan also said Nigeria is on track to become one of the first countries in Africa to fully migrate from IP4 and IPv6, ensuring better internet connectivity and security. In his remarks, the coordinating Minister of the Economy and Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, highlighted the growing role of the ICT sector in Nigeria's economy, revealing that the industry contributed 16% of the country's GDP in 2024. Senate President Godswill Akpabio says less than 30% of the Nigerian pay taxes to the federal government and expects the government to deliver top-tier infrastructure, education, security, and other essential services. Akpabio made this known on Monday while declaring an open public hearing on tax reform bills sent to the National Assembly on October 3, 2024 by President Bola Tinubu, adding that the necessity of tax reforms, noting that the country cannot continue to repeat past practices without meaningful exchange. According to him, once the bills are passed, the National Assembly will strengthen its oversight to ensure resources are used judiciously and urged Nigerians to engage with the legislative process instead of relying on social media narratives. He encouraged participants to obtain copies of the tax reform bills and scrutinize them thoroughly rather than depending on misinformation. The tax reform bills under the consideration include the Nigerian Tax Bill 2024, the Nigerian Tax Administration Bill 2024, the Nigerian Revenue Service Bill 2024, and the Joint Revenue Board Bill 2024. The bills have passed the second reading in the Senate on November 28, 2024, and were forwarded to the Committee on Finance for further legislative scrutiny. Two senior advocates of the Nigeria, San Olalekan Ojo and Kazim Badamusi, have accused Justice Abdulrahman Oshodi of bias against the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Ifeanyi Emefiele, and requested that he rescue himself from further proceedings. Meanwhile, Justice Oshodi has fixed ruling for February 20, while at the resumed trial of Emefiele on Monday, the lead counsel to the former governor, Mr. Olalekan Ojo's son, in an application asked the judge to rescue himself from further hearing of the matter on the ground of bias. During the proceedings and in the course of examination, in chief by a witness, Odetola John, Justice Oshodi had stated clear in the open court that the allegation of receiving bribe money has been proven against the erstwhile governor of the CBN, while the prosecution counsel, Mr. Rotimi Oyedepo's son, was leading the witness, Odetola John, in evidence in chief. The objection of the defense team was based on the fact that such statements from the trial judge, when the matter has now been concluded, especially when cross-examination had not commenced on the witness, clearly showed that the judge has made up his mind to convict the former governor of the CBN. He demanded that the judge step down from the further trial of the charges, while Justice Oshodi has fixed ruling for February 26 in the application asking him to rescue himself in the trial of Emefiele. Moving on, Federal High Court in Abuja has adjourned the money laundering case against former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello onto the March 6 and 7, 2025. The case filed by the Economic and Financial Crime Commission continued on Monday with testimonies from two prosecution witnesses, and the first witness, Shegun Adeleke, General Manager of AFA Properties Limited, testified about properties in Maitama and Gwarimpa, while Adeleke said Bello's name did not appear on any document and that he had never met the former governor. Adeleke said he met Shehu Bello 3 times during the introduction payments and when legal documents were executed, while the defense counsel, Joseph Daudu, said on asked Adeleke if he personally discussed the transaction with Shehu Bello, to which he replied. The second prosecution witness, Williams Abimbola, a compliance officer with United Bank of Africa, testified against Sopi Monet, while the EFCC counsel, Kemi Finhioro, said the subpoena was issued to obtain 4 sets of documents, including account statements. Abimbola submitted account opening documents and statements, including the Kogi State Government House account from January 1, 2016 to January 31, 2024, while other statements included those of Marcelina Njoko from January 1, 2022 to December 31, 2022, and the American International School Abuja from September 1 to September 30, 2020. All documents were admitted as evidence without objection, while the court adjourned the case to March 6 and 7, 2025 for further hearing. Moving on, foremost nationalist and elder statesman Pa Ayodele Adebanjo will be buried in his hometown Ijebu-Ode, Ogun State on May 3, 2025. A statement signed by Ms. Ayotunde Ayo Adebanjo, Mrs. Adeola Aziz, and Mr. Obafemi Ayo Adebanjo on behalf of his family. According to the statement, proceedings will commence with a day of tribute service of song at Hackett Point, Victoria Island, Lagos. Said the burial ceremony is scheduled for Friday, starting with the wake at Adebanjo's country home Isanye Obo Ijebu-Ode, Ogun State, followed by the interment and entertainment of guests at his country home. The statement urged friends, family members, political and business associates, as well as the public, to support the family with prayers of a befitting burial. Indigenous people of Biafra is demanding for an independent nation of Biafra and not additional states in the southeast. This has come in following moves to create an additional 31 new states in Nigeria, including 5 states from the southeast. The proposed states were Etiti State, Adada State, Urashi State, Olu State, and Aber State. However, IPOB spokesman Emma Powerful said the current states are bankrupt and not functioning properly, stressing that creating more states is tantamount to creating more confusion, disunity, and insecurity, adding that Nigerians are suffering because of the faulty foundations of the Nigerian state and the insurmountable corruption in the Nigerian government. And now to our business reports. Following the looming nationwide premium motor spirits, otherwise known as petrol in Nigeria, the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria has issued a 7-day ultimatum to withdraw services across the country over the non-payment of bridging claims amounting to 100 billion naira. The chairman of the IPMAN Depot Chairman Forum, Yamaha Al-Hassan, who disclosed this during a press conference in Abuja on Monday, said the Nigerian government, through the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, has failed to clear 800 billion naira bridging debt owed to petrol marketers 40 days after promising to do so in the presence of the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu. He said, Northern Deports, comprising the Jos Depot, Gusau Depot, Mina Depot, Suleja Depot, Kaduna Depot, Kano Depot, Gombe Depot, Yola Depot, and Maduguri Depot have become completely grounded due to the lingering debt. On his part, the chairman of the Gombe Depot, Ibrahim Mohammed, expressed disappointment with the federal government over its failure to fulfill its promise to clear the 100 billion naira bridging claim. Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners has expressed concern over the potential impact of the federal government's impending ban on large tankers carrying over 60,000 liters of petroleum products. Also, the Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria has also called on President Bola Tinubu to intervene and mitigate the impact of the ban on large tankers on those affected. The ban, set to take effect on March 1st, 2025, was announced last week owing to the recurring accidents and explosion due to the overload trucks, which led to the death of 493 persons in 3 years. NATO's national president Yusuf Othman said the restriction would reduce the supply of petroleum products, especially in northern Nigeria, which relies heavily on products transported from southern Depot, adding that NATO is reviewing the situation and working closely with its members to assess the potential financial losses, which could amount to over 300 billion naira in investments. Othman also expressed concern over the livelihoods of approximately 2,000 drivers, 2,000 motorboys, and their families who could be directly affected by the changes, adding that the association is also considering the option of reducing the capacity of the affected tanker through fabrication. A statement by the Petron President Billy Gills Harry said about 100 persons in the petroleum sector will be affected by the ban and commended Tinubu for prioritizing Nigerians' life following the ban on the trucks carrying over 60,000 liters of hydrocarbon product to reduce tanker accidents and explosion. President of the Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, says the Dangote Petroleum Refinery currently has over 500 million liters of petrol in its reserve to meet the needs of Nigerians. He also said the refinery now produces enough fuel for local consumption and export. He disclosed this during a tour of the $20 billion Lekki-based facility with the Zambian Minister for Energy, Makozo Chikote, and commended the collaboration with the founder to help solve the country's energy security issues. In his address during the tour, Dangote said the refinery currently has 600 billion naira worth of stocks in its tanks farm, and the plant will reach its 650,000 barrels per day full production capacity next month, adding that Nigeria can now consume up to 50% of its refined fuel. Cooperation between Nigeria and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia will boost the nation's economy. A statement from the CBN said Cardoso made this known during a courtesy visit to the CBN headquarters by the Saudi Arabia ambassador to Nigeria, Faisal bin Ibrahim Al-Bamdi, and his delegation, Ardenda Cardoso, explained the Apex Bank's dedication to fostering partnership across key sectors that drive economic growth. He said the Central Bank of Nigeria remains committed to advancing partnership that would deepen economic ties between Nigeria and Saudi Arabia, that would continue to explore opportunities that yield tangible benefits for both countries, and also commended the Saudi government for its hospitality during the recently concluded ILA event hosted by the Saudi Ministry of Finance in collaboration with the International Monetary Fund Regional Office in Riyadh. In his remarks, Al-Hamdi expressed appreciation for the warm reception and reaffirmed Saudi Arabia's interest in expanding bilateral cooperation with Nigeria, adding that the kingdom has keen to collaborate with Nigeria in strategic sectors, including renewable energy, agriculture, and water connectivity. Now to international tidbits. Congolese premier said violence raging in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo has killed more than group, has seized large swaths of mineral-rich Eastern DRC, including the main cities of Goma and Bukavu, in the face of the limited resistance from Congolese forces. Prime Minister Judith Suminwa Tulaka told the United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva, stressing that since January, the death of more than 7,000 compatriots had been registered, while more than 2,500 bodies were buried without being identified, and 1,500 bodies were still in the morgue. The M23 movement, supported by some 4,000 Rwandan soldiers, according to UN experts, now controls the largest tracts of Eastern DRC, a troubled region rich in natural resources. Bukavu just over a week ago, after first capturing Goma, the capital of North Kivu and the main city in the country's east, last month. The premier also said more than 3,000 people had been killed in Goma alone. Moving on, European Union has suspended some sanctions against Syria. The sanctions were lifted during a meeting of EU foreign ministers in Brussels, the capital of Belgium. Restrictions were lifted in the areas of energy sector that covered oil, gas, and electricity, including the transport sector, banking, transport, and reconstruction. However, European Union also lifted asset freezes for 5 banks, eased restrictions on the Syrian Central Bank related to the Assad authorities, including those on arms trading, dual-use goods with both military and civilian users, software of surveillance, and the international trade of Syrian cultural heritage goods. They said they would continue to monitor the situation in Syria to ensure that the suspensions remained appropriate. Moving on, suspected gunmen have shot dead no fewer than 8 people in Mexico. The prosecutor's office said the 5 women and 3 men who had not been identified were killed in the streets on Saturday night in Guanajuato. According to official homicide statistics, Guanajuato, which is a thriving industrial hub and home to several popular tourist destinations, is considered Mexico's most violent state. Eyewitnesses said the incident took place in the municipality of Cortázar, where in 2023 gunmen stormed a water park and killed 7 people, including a child. Meanwhile, the National Guard on Sunday arrested a man in Guanajuato identified as the leader of hitmen for the Santa Rosa de Lima cartel, while violence in Guanajuato is linked to ongoing conflicts between the Santa Rosa de Lima gang and the Jalisco New Generational cartel, one of the most powerful in the Latin American nation. Now to also sports reports. Heartland has celebrated their 2025 Imo State Federation Cup success. The Nays Millionaires defeated non-league side OAS FC 2-0 to the final of the competition at the Dan Anyim Stadium, Owerri on Sunday. Heartland expressed hopes that the triumph will be a start for a positive season. Heartland and Oisa FC will represent the state in the national playoff of the President's Federation Cup. Moving on, former Ajax and Manchester United manager Erik ten Hag says he will not take any new job until July 1. Ten Hag has been out of work since he was sacked by the Red Devils in October. Place. Amorim replaced Ten Hag during the November international break and has found it difficult to impose his ideas on the squad. Ten Hag has now said he does not plan to take charge of any team in the middle of a campaign. Now to some entertainment reports. Anthony Rico, a high-profile attorney representing embattled American singer Shindidi, has stepped down ahead of his sixth trafficking trial. This is coming after Dizzy, who is currently facing over 30 civil lawsuits, is awaiting a federal criminal trial on sex trafficking and racketeering scheduled for May 5, 2025. Anthony, who announced his withdrawal in the motion filed before the New York federal court, declined to give reasons as to why he was leaving the rapper's legal team. Anthony Rico is known for his role in the Bin Laden case. Founder of Streams of Joy International, Pastor Jerry Eze, has testified how God saved him and his team from death in a plane crash. Pastor Jerry, who is also the convener of the new season prophetic prayers and declaration, disclosed during the Sunday service. According to the popular pastor, the incident happened after the NSSPD prayer conference in Lagos, and while on board the plane, he asked to see the pilot because his spirit was restless, and since they were tired, he decided to pray and continue with the trip back to Abuja. Things took a drastic turn as the plane crash landed on their arrival. And that's the size of the package. Thank you for joining us. I am Mary Jane Ngwangpo. You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Twitter at Atlantic Television Network, Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, Instagram at Atlantic TV Network 1. Remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching.